So, good afternoon again. In the last class, I taught you regarding the basics of the female pelvis. Today we'll go to learn something not interesting, but we'll learn something different as far as the knowledge of pelvis goes. This may not be essential for all undergraduates, but it is better both the undergraduate and postgraduates should know detail regarding the teeth and beat of pelvis. So, as far our knowledge goes, the articulated bony pelvis is divided into two parts. One is the false pelvis and one is the true pelvis, by the landmark called as pelvic brim or bony inlet. Now, the inlet divides the pelvis into two parts, the true pelvis and the false pelvis. But inside the true pelvis there are several things which are important, which we should know. So apart from the inlet and the anatomical outlet, there is another plane that is called as plane of least pelvic dimension, and that plane of least pelvic dimension divides the true pelvis into the segment above it and the segment below it. So the segment above the plane of least pelvic dimension is known as the cavity of the pelvis. It is the most roomiest space, and the segment below the plane of least pelvic dimension is otherwise known as obstetrical outlet. So till now we are aware about the pelvis, bony pelvis, which is divided into false pelvis and true pelvis. Now, this true pelvis, there are certain important things inside the true pelvis about which we should be aware of. The first one is the inlet. The second one is the cavity. The third one is the obstetrical outlet. And the fourth one is the anatomical outlet. So, in the true pelvis, there are four things. One is the inlet, one is the cavity, one is the obstetrical outlet, one is the anatomical outlet. Out of all four things, the inlet is a plane and anatomical outlet is one plane. And out of all these four things, cavity is a segment and obstetrical outlet is one segment. So, the inlet, otherwise known as the pelvic brim, comprises of important bony landmark I explained in the last class. And as far as the anatomical outlet goes, it starts from the lower border of the symphysis pubic, ischiopubic rami, ischial tuberosity, and tip of the coccyx. This is the anatomical outlet. So, true pelvis is a segment of the pelvis which is bounded above by the inlet and below by the anatomical outlet. And the plane of least pelvic dimension, which starts from the lower border of the symphysis pubis to the ischial spine to the tip of the fifth sacral vertebra. Now, this is otherwise known as plane of least pelvic dimension, and this plane of least pelvic dimension divides the true pelvis into two segments. One is the cavity and second one is the obstetrical outlet. So, regarding all the four things, we got to know the shape of inlet, cavity, outlet and the anatomical outlet. Also, we should know the plane of each of the things, that is the plane of the inlet, plane of the cavity, plane of the obstetrical outlet and plane of the anatomical outlet. Then also we should know the axis, which are the axis and what is the direction of the axis. All the four things. And so also we should know the different diameters, which is often asked in the examination. What is the anteroposterior diameter, what is the transverse diameter, what is the posterior sagittal diameter, like that. Now, to be very precise, and we should know the plane of all these things, Before that, we should know the shape. Then also we should know the axis, then also we should know the different diameters. So under these headings, we'll discuss the inlet, cavity, obstacle outlet and the anatomical outlet. We should know the shape of inlet, we should know the shape of the cavity, we should know the shape of the obstacle outlet, we should know the shape of the anatomical outlet. Similarly, we should know the plane of the inlet, plane of the cavity, plane of the obstacle outlet and plane of the anatomical outlet. Similarly, we should know where is the axis of each of the inlet, cavity, obstacle outlet and anatomical outlet, and of course the last thing which is very very important is the diameters. To remember all the diameters, transverse diameter, oblique diameter and the anteroposterior diameter which are available in all the four things like inlet, cavity, obstacle outlet and the anatomical outlet. So we'll remember in a comparative manner so that you can remember it very easily. So what is the shape of the inlet? This is the inlet. What is the shape of the inlet? The shape of the inlet in case of gynecoid pelvis is that the transverse is bigger than the anteroposterior diameter. That is why the engagement often occurs in the transverse plane. So it is transversely oval. Roughly this is the transversely oval. This is the shape of a transversely oval shape of the inlet where the anteroposterior diameter is less than the transverse diameter. What is the shape of the cavity? The shape of the cavity is round. Round means the anteroposterior diameter and the transverse diameter are the same. Then the shape of the obstetrical outlet. The shape of the obstetrical outlet is such that it is anteroposteriorly oval. Anteroposteriorly oval means the anteroposterior diameter is more than the transverse diameter. And anatomical outlet, the shape of the anatomical outlet is diamond shaped. Diamond shaped. So, if you remember in a comparative manner, it is easy to remember. The shape of the inlet is transversely oval, but the transverse diameter is more than the anterior posterior diameter. The shape of the cavity is circular, where the anterior posterior diameter are the same. And the shape of the obstetrical outlet is anteroposteriorly oval, where the anterior posterior diameter is bigger and the transverse diameter is smaller. And that of anatomical outlet is diamond shaped. Two triangles with the same base. Now let us know where are the planes of inlet, cavity, obstetrical outlet and the anatomical outlet. Now, as for your knowledge coach, the inlet itself is a plane and anatomical outlet itself is a plane. So, for the inlet and the anatomical outlet, as because both are plane, you understand the plane itself. That means the brim or the inlet is a plane. So, the plane of the inlet means, as because it is a plane, you need not understand extra things. The inlet is the plane. Similarly, that is true for the anatomical outlet also. So, as because cavity is a segment and obstetrical outlet is a segment, you should learn where lies the plane of the obstetrical outlet and plane of the cavity. So, let us come to the obstetrical outlet. Obstetrical outlet is a segment of the pelvis which is bounded above by the plane of least pelvic dimension and below by the anatomical outlet. So, the plane of least pelvic dimension is the plane of least pelvic dimension is the plane of the obstetrical outlet. So, inlet where the plane lies. So, inlet itself is a plane and anatomical outlet itself is a plane. And the obstetrical outlet, the important bony landmark is the plane of least pelvic dimension, and this is the plane of the obstetrical outlet. It starts from the lower part of the symphysis pubis, goes to the ischial spine and tip of the fifth sacral vertebra. This is the plane of least pelvic dimension, is the plane of the obstetrical outlet. So, what is cavity? Cavity is a segment of the pelvis which is bounded above by the inlet and below by the plane of least pelvic dimension. So, in between the inlet and plane of least pelvic dimension, there lies one plane which is extra to other things. That means we must understand where is the plane of the cavity. Sorry for the interruption. So cavity is defined as a segment of the pelvis which is bounded above by the plane, above by the inlet and below by the plane of least pelvic dimension. So between the inlet and the plane of least pelvic dimension, there is another plane which is known as plane of the cavity. So what are the bony landmarks for the plane of the cavity? So it starts from the most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis. This is the upper margin, this is the lower margin, this is the upper margin, this is the upper margin, this is the lower margin, and in between there is a point called most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis. It starts from a point, most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis, and it ends posteriorly between the junction of the second and third sacral vertebra. This is the first sacral vertebra, this is second third sacral vertebra. So junction of the second and third sacral vertebra, there is a point which is already been marked here. So this plane, if you join anteriorly the most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis and posteriorly between the junction of the second and third sacral vertebra, this is the plane of the cavity. Now, if you do not know where is the axis, then it is useless to know the plane. So to find out the axis, we must know the plane, because to find out the axis, you got to draw a mid perpendicular line to the plane. You go to the middle of the plane, then you draw a mid perpendicular line on the plane, you will get the axis. So for the inlet is a plane. So if you draw a mid perpendicular line in the plane, you will get the axis. Similarly, in the cavity, you know the plane. It starts from the most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis and ends at the junction of the second and third sacral vertebra. That will be the plane. And if you draw a mid perpendicular line to that plane, you will get the axis. The plane of obstetrical outlet is the plane of least pelvic dimension. So what I mean to say that if you draw one mid perpendicular line to the plane of inlet, cavity and the anatomical outlet, you will get the axis. So if you draw the mid perpendicular line to the inlet, cavity and the anatomical outlet, you will get the axis, except that for obstetrical outlet. So where to get the axis of the obstetrical outlet? So if you draw one mid perpendicular line to the inlet, you will get the axis, and the direction of the axis is downward and backward. If you get the mid perpendicular line to the plane of the cavity, you will get the axis of the cavity, the direction is downward. And if you draw the mid perpendicular line to the anatomical outlet, you will get the axis of the anatomical outlet and the direction is downward and forward. So how to get the axis of the obstetrical outlet? So you do not depend on the mid perpendicular line to get the axis of the obstetrical outlet. So if you join the middle point of the plane, and you will join another point that is on the sacral promontory. If you will join the midpoint of the plane and you will join that point with the sacral promontory, you will get the axis. So it is not the mid perpendicular line. So the direction of that axis of the obstetrical outlet is also vertical. So the direction of pelvic axis, the first it is downward, then it is first it is downward and backward, then it is downward, then it is downward, and then it is downward and forward. This is the direction of the inlet, this is the direction of the cavity, this is the direction of the obstetrical outlet, this is the direction of the anatomical outlet. So to know the teat and beat of the two pelvis, it can be divided into four parts. One is the inlet, cavity, obstetrical outlet and the anatomical outlet. And all the four things has to be studied in detail in the form of SPAD. SPAD means S for shape, A for P for plane, A for axis and D for diameters. Now hopefully this is important for the postgraduate to know detail regarding all these things, but for the undergraduate, it is nothing that you should not know. The undergraduate students who are expecting, honors, and they want to perform well in the Viva's examination, they got to understand all the things. Now, the most important thing which the undergraduate should know are the different diameters which you come across as far as inlet, cavity, outlet, both the obstetrical and anatomy outlets are concerned. So how to remember the different diameters at the different level? So let us discuss something regarding the diameters. So coming to the inlet, as I told you, it is oval in shape, where the transverse diameter is bigger. Here the transverse diameter is 13 centimeter, and the anterior posterior diameter is 11 centimeter, and oblique diameter is 12 centimeter. You can remember in the form of 11, 12 and 13. So which one is the transverse diameter? Transverse diameters means farthest point in the iliopectineal line. Transverse diameter is farthest point in the iliopectineal line, and oblique diameters can be defined as starting from sacroiliac joint to the opposite iliopubic eminence. This is the left sacroiliac joint going to the right iliopubic eminence. You will get the oblique diameter. It is named as left oblique diameter. So oblique diameter is named according to the sacroiliac joint it is involved. Transverse diameter farthest point in the iliopectineal line. Oblique diameter starts from the sacroiliac joint to the iliopubic eminence. It is 12 centimeter. And anteroposterior diameter. There are three types of anteroposterior diameter. So one, this is the sacral promontory. And this is the symphysis pubis. So true conjugate from the inner margin of the upper body starts from the inner margin of the upper border of the symphysis pubis. To the midpoint of the sacral promontory. This is the true conjugate. Diagonal conjugate means lower margin of the symphysis pubis to the midpoint of the sacral promontory. This is the diagonal conjugate. And obstetrical conjugate means most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis to the midpoint of the sacral promontory. So this is obstetrical conjugate. So true conjugate is 11 centimeter and diagonal conjugate is 12 centimeter. Out of all those three, only the diagonal conjugate can be clinically measured, and if you subtract 2 centimeter from the diagonal conjugate, you will get the obstetrical conjugate. If you subtract 1.2 centimeter or 1 centimeter from the diagonal conjugate, you will get the true conjugate. So true conjugate means inner margin of the upper border of the symphysis pubis to the midpoint of the sacral promontory. Diagonal conjugate means lower border of the symphysis pubis to the midpoint of the sacral promontory. So regarding all the diameters of the inlet, as of now it is clear. You can remember by remembering 11, 12 and 13. Coming to the cavity. So cavity means the plane of the cavity is the midpoint behind the symphysis pubis, posterior to the symphysis pubis to the junction of the second and third sacral. That is the plane where you will get all the diameters. Here all the diameters are same as because it is circular in shape, so all the diameters are 12. So both the anteroposterior diameter and the transverse diameter and the oblique diameters are 12 centimeters. So it is 12, and it is 12. So anteroposterior diameter means most prominent point behind the symphysis pubis to the junction of the second and third sacral vertebra. This is the 12 centimeter. Similarly, due to the soft tissue that covers inside the cavity, you do not precisely know the bony prominences to define the oblique diameter and the transverse diameter, but roughly all the diameters, that is the anteroposterior diameter and the transverse diameter and the oblique diameters, are 12 centimeter inside the cavity. So let us know the obstetrical outlet, diameters of the obstetrical outlet. As of you know, the obstetrical outlet, the plane of obstetrical outlet is the lower border of the symphysis pubis to the ischial spine to the tip of the fifth sacral vertebra. So in this level or at this level you will get the different diameters. Coming to the anteroposterior diameter is bigger than the transverse diameter. Anteroposterior diameter starts from the lower part of the symphysis pubis to the tip of the fifth sacral vertebra. So it is around 11 centimeter. And coming to the transverse diameter, the bispinous diameter between the ischial spine, and it is 10.5 centimeter. So anteroposterior diameter, lower part of the symphysis pubis to the tip of the fifth sacral vertebra, it is 11 centimeter, and transverse diameter between both the spine or bispinous diameter, it is 10.5 centimeter. The idea is clear. Similarly, coming to the anatomical outlet, anteroposterior diameter and the transverse diameter. Coming to the anatomical outlet, the bony landmark, lower part of the symphysis pubis to the tip of the coccyx, and laterally the ischial tuberosity. So anteroposterior diameter from the lower part of the symphysis pubis to the tip of the coccyx, it is 13 centimeter. And coming to the transverse diameter, that is the intertuberous diameter covering both the ischial tuberosity, it is around 11 centimeter. So your idea regarding the different diameters are important for the postgraduate. You should know which are the different diameters at the different level. So at the level of the inlet, to repeat, the diameters are 11, 12 and 13. Here the transverse diameter is maximum, that is 13 centimeter between two iliopectineal line. And anteroposterior diameter, there are three types of anteroposterior diameter: true conjugate, obstacle conjugate and the diagonal conjugate. And also the oblique diameter is important, covering the sacroiliac joint to the iliopubic eminence. Then in the cavity, all the diameters are 12 in measurement, 12 centimeter in measurement. And coming to the obstetrical outlet, here the anteroposterior diameter is 11 centimeter and the transverse diameter, the bispinous diameter, is 10.5 centimeter. And anatomical outlet, the anteroposterior diameter is 13 centimeter and the transverse diameter is the intertuberous diameter is between ischial tuberosity is the 11 centimeter. So another two diameter which are important, the posterior sagittal diameters. So what is the posterior sagittal diameter of the obstetrical outlet? What is the posterior sagittal diameter of the anatomical outlet? So posterior sagittal diameter, you will go to the posterior segment. What is the posterior sagittal diameter? Suppose you will go to the bispinous diameter or intertuberous diameter. The transverse diameter of the obstetrical outlet or the anatomical outlet. So bispinous diameter and the intertuberous diameter. You will go to the midpoint of the transverse diameter and you will toss the posterior point, you will get the posterior sagittal diameter. Suppose I want to know that posterior sagittal diameter of the obstetrical outlet. So midpoint of the bispinous diameter to the midpoint of the bispinous diameter to the tip of the fifth sacral vertebra, it is around 5 centimeter. Similarly, if you try to find out the posterior sagittal diameter of the anatomical outlet, you will go to the transverse diameter, that is the intertuberous diameter. From the midpoint of the intertuberous diameter, it will go to the sacrococcygeal joint, not the tip of the coccyx. You will go to the sacrococcygeal joint. You will get the posterior sagittal diameter of the anatomical outlet. So midpoint of the transverse diameter, the intertuberous diameter to the sacrococcygeal joint, it is around 8.5 centimeter. This is 5 centimeter and this is 8.5 centimeter. Posterior sagittal diameter of the anatomical outlet. So this is a complex, no doubt this is one complex thing as far as the pelvis is concerned. But as a postgraduate, you must know detail about the true pelvis, and inside the true pelvis you should know what is the inlet, what is the cavity, what is the obstetrical outlet, what is the anatomical outlet, and regarding all the things you should know what is the shape, where is the plane, where is the axis, and what is the direction of the axis. Then also the diameters the postgraduate must know, and it is better for the undergraduate also, they should mug up the diameters and try to understand the things. Thank you very much.